Often in our program, we need to compare two numbers against each other. Let's see how we do that in JavaScript. So we've seen the various ways to create numbers, as well as create other numbers by using mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulo. And we saw how the order of operations works and how parentheses can be used to control the order of the operations in an expression. Now, in strings, we saw that we could compare two strings together using less than, greater than, as well as less than, equal to, greater than or equal to, and the equal to operator. And numbers, unsurprisingly, have the same type of comparison. So if we were to, for instance, check out console.log, and let's just take the expression 1 is less than 2, we would expect this to return true, because 1 is in fact less than 2. Now we had another console.log up here, and I'm just going to comment it out, so we only get one console here. So we can see 1 less than 2 in our only console.log, so if we refresh, we see it's true. We also have the greater than operator, so this expression means 1 is greater than 2, which is obviously false. And we have the greater than or equal to and less than or equal to operators, which are greater than the equal operator. Now, is 1 greater than or equal to 2? If we refresh, we see false. But is 1 greater than or equal to 1? We see true. Now, if we didn't have this equal sign here, and we said 1 is greater than 1, well, that's false. And this works in the other direction. We can say 1 is less than or equal to 1, which would obviously be true. And 1 is less than 1 would be false. And this works even when our representations are slightly different. So for instance, if we had 1.0 on one side and just 1 on the other, and we said less than or equal to, well, 1 is equal to 1.0. So less than, greater than, as well as less than and equal to, and greater than and equal to are pretty easy to use. We've seen the equality operator of 3 equal signs, so 1 is equal to 1.0. And we refresh, we see true. And 1 is equal to 1.5, of course, is false. Now you'll notice I'm using the triple equals operator, which we've seen before, and I explained that there's also a double equals operator. And the reason we don't use this is because if we compare a number to a string, we'll get some interesting results. So for instance, if we checked the number 1 is equal to the string 1 with 2 equal operators, we'll see it's true. However, if we do 3 equals, we'll see that it's false. And this is because the triple equal operator will not just check that the values are the same, but they are of the same type. Now, the double equal operator has a lot of weird edge cases where it tries to convert numbers to strings or to other types, where you may get some pretty unusual values when comparing the equality of two different types of objects. That's why anytime we're doing a comparison like this, we want to use a triple equals operator and make sure we're working with the same types. So in general practice, we don't want to compare a number to a string. Instead, we may want to do something like parse int of that string. And remember to add our second argument 10 here, so it's in base 10. And then we would get true. That way we're being very explicit about what we're checking against. Finally, the opposite of the triple equals operator is the bang equals equals operator. This exclamation point or bang means not in JavaScript, which means 1 is not equal to 1 in this case. So does 1 not equal 1? No, so that would be false. So for instance, if we checked 1 is not equal to 3, this would be true. Again, if we just use an exclamation point and 1 equals, this would be the opposite of equals equals, while the exclamation point with 2 equals is the opposite of 3 equals. So these are the ways we can compare our numbers. We could place this expression in an if statement, for instance, to control the flow of our program based on the equality or inequality of an expression of numbers like this. If 1 is less than 2, console.log, yes. And we could use else, console.log, no. And this is just like we did with strings. We just simply put our comparison operator inside the if statement here, and it'll branch based on the truth of that inequality or equality. So we can check it out. And we can see, of course, yes is the branch that actually gets run. JavaScript provides us with a pretty large library of mathematical functions and constants we can use when we're doing math in JavaScript. Up next, we'll take a look at where we can find those functions.